Hi, I'm a stake indexing director, and this is the second in my series of videos on how to index the obituary projects in FamilySearch Indexing. Today I just want to go through one obituary with you, which has a couple of special points. I'm using the Hawaii Obituaries project as an example, and I already have my batch and my image opened here. So we'll just go ahead and start. As always, the first thing you need to index is the deceased's name. So we'll do that here. Okay, and notice that I've included the hyphen. Make this a little bigger so that the resolution is better. Okay, I've included the hyphen. We do include hyphens in names. Okay, and the last name. Titles and terms, there's nothing here. Gender, we need to make sure we find some indication aside from the name of what the gender is, and here we have he, so this is a male. Okay, age is 70. And the death month, here it says died December 10, 1988. And once again, if the exact death date were not given, then we would take the next closest date, which in this case would have been the date of publication of the obituary, but we have the death date, so that's okay. Death town, it doesn't say where he died, it just says where he had resided. Waimanalo. Sorry, I can't pronounce Hawaiian names. But it doesn't say where he died, so we have to leave that empty. We can't assume that he died in the place that he lived. Next is the birth information, and it just says where he was born in Honolulu. It doesn't say when. So we skip the date and we can enter Honolulu there. We know Honolulu's in Hawaii, but we cannot put that, we cannot index that because it doesn't say it here on the obituary. Okay, name of the newspaper is up here. Honolulu Advertiser. And that's it for the deceased. We go on to the second record. Now, we always need to enter the individuals in the order in which they appear on the obituary. So we're just going to skim through. It has the names of two companies, Hawaiian Electric and Aruda's Electrical, but we're not going to index Aruda. That's the name of a company. It may also be a person, but it doesn't say that here. It's the name of the company, so that doesn't get indexed. Next we have the sons. Okay, so the son is a relative, son, and his name, Jeremiah K, just K. So it says Jeremiah K and Sydney, and that's all. There's no last name. So we cannot assume the last name. We need to blank that surname for the son. Same for the next son, another relative, son, Sydney, blank. Okay, next comes daughters. Relative, daughter. Lois, Palama. Okay, another daughter, relative. And here once again we have an example of a special case. Mrs. Edward, parentheses, Marsha, Phillips. So what this means is that the daughter's name was Marsha, so first of all daughter, Marsha, and that she was married to Edward Phillips. Now the rules for this project say that we are not to index Edward. Okay, the reason is that this here, Mrs. Edward Marsha Phillips, this here refers only to one person. Okay, here it's just telling about one survivor, the daughter. If it had said that she was also survived by Edward Phillips, then we could index him, but as it doesn't, we do not index him. That's just the way the rules are. Okay, going on. The next one is the next daughter, Iris Cordero. Next one, another daughter, same case. We put the daughter's real name, Mrs., but not the name of her husband. Okay, relative, daughter, and the last daughter We have no last name given for her, so that is blanked. Okay, going on. Grandchildren, there's no names, so we skip that. Great-grandchildren, also no names, so we skip that. By the way, though, if it had said the names, the grandchildren, just show you. So when you go to grandchild, there's no way, if we look at the list, there's nothing for great-grandchild. Okay, it's all just grandchild, granddaughter. And likewise, there's nothing for great-grandparents either. So those just get indexed as grandchildren. So, I mean, if there were a name. There's none here, but we won't. So we won't put anything for that. In fact, we'll go on to the brother, which is Joseph. Okay, Joseph, Henry, Abel, Castle, Solomon, and Herman. And there's no last name given for any of these, so the last name is going to be blanked for all of them. Okay. Joseph, another brother is Henry, blank, another relative brother, Abel, blank. Okay, now I've come to the end of my 11 entries. I need more entries. And so I'm on Abel. I see there's Castle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's not going to let me scroll down to see more. So I need at least 6, so I'll put 6 for now. I'm probably going to need more. Relative, brother, Castle, Solomon, Herman. Now we come to the sisters. Now we're on Elizabeth. And, okay, now we have Elizabeth Maca, Bernice, Queen Emma Leong, and Carol Ramos. Okay, so Maca now is the last name of this sister. Bernice has no last name given. Queen Emma Leong is the last name. So, and we need one more for Carol Ramos. Relative, sister, Carol Ramos. Okay, and now let's check the rest of it. There's no more names. Okay, 0. And then it would go on to the next record. So that's all I wanted to show you for this video. Basically, the points are, first of all, that if there's no last name given, like on these sons, that you cannot assume the last name. Secondly, you cannot assume the place of death. This is his place of residence, not his place of death necessarily, so you can't enter that. Third, here, in this case, with this Mrs. Edward Marsha Phillips, that you just enter that as one person, Marsha Phillips, and you ignore the Edward. And lastly, that when you need to add more lines, add more records for additional people, that you can just go ahead and do that when the pop-up window comes asking you how many you need. You can also add more here, adding a record for the image, if you wanted to count them beforehand and see how many you needed. Okay, that's all I want to show you today. So get back to indexing and have fun. Bye.